We're now with Frankie Corrado, and Frankie, it's the same old story. Another slow start for the Oilers, the latest being this 9-1 loss to the Avalanche. So how concerned are you that this is more than the usual early season struggles?
A little concerned for sure, but the Edmonton Oilers deserve the benefit of the doubt because this is something that they've had to work through the last couple seasons. You know, you go back to 2 years ago, they're 2-9 on this exact date, November 10th, and then they end up being one win away from winning a Stanley Cup. The thing that's different is the team looks different, but they've answered a lot of those questions within their play from November 10th to the end of June. They're just going to have to do that with some different personnel. They're not a younger team than they were. They're not a faster team than they were. They're not a more skilled team than they were at that moment. Now they have to answer all those questions. Can you get past the goaltending, which hasn't been up to par? Can you get past the fact that still you're relying so much on the backs of your two best players, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl? Can you do it all with the roster turnover that has happened for the Edmonton Oilers? Listen, we can't put anything past 97 and 29. They show us in the playoffs that they're ready to play. And ultimately, the Oilers will get there. They're too good of a team to not get to the playoffs, but it's another concerning start for them. And you have to answer this question. Can they win a Stanley Cup as currently constructed? Well, the last couple years would tell us they can get close, but they can't win it. Now this roster's not as good this year. How far back does that take you away from your ultimate goal? That should be a concern for the Oilers. They have a lot of work to do on the ice and how they're playing, and off the ice and how this roster is built.
Okay, it's a lot of work to continue to do this season, and Edmonton isn't the only Canadian city where the vibes are off right now, Frankie. Toronto also going through it, and John Tavares used the word immature to describe his team last night. And every loss seems to come with a Craig Berube blow up behind the bench. So what would you say is missing right now from the Maple Leafs?
There's a lot of defensive details that are lacking in the game of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And what an indictment it is, Sarah, that the former captain of the team, who is on a team that's the third oldest in the NHL, says that the team is playing immature hockey or being immature. I'm paraphrasing what John Tavares said, but that is a significant indictment on this group. This should not be an immature group. This should be a group based on what their track record tells you that breezes through the regular season, actually starts now to breeze through the regular season because October, it always takes them a little while to get going, but generally they follow it up with a November to remember. Not necessarily the case right now, and all these little details add up. So Toronto, one of the worst, most porous teams in the NHL defensively against the rush, teams are feasting on them. That is easy offense that is difficult to clean up. They have to find a way to do that. And even if you were going to have a little room in the budget for a goaltending recession this season for Toronto, it's been quite the recession for them, and now they're having to battle through that. And one of the things that they could always look to is, hey, if the power play is not going, let's put Mitch Marner as the defenseman and we'll go 5 forwards. That's an option that's not available to them right now. So they have a lot of question marks. They lack a lot of details within their game, and the answers are less than what they used to have. Toronto's working through things. It hasn't been a great start. These little details are adding up to costing them games, and they have to find a way to resolve it as a team, and it's not an easy thing to do.
Okay, so both teams are searching, and of the two situations between the Oilers and Leafs, which gives you more concern that the problems could really just be here to stay for the season?
The Leafs situation gives me more concern because the Edmonton Oilers have done it. They've had bad starts. They were 500 last year at this point. They were 2-9 2 years ago at this point. Toronto has found ways to turn the page in November and eventually never really look back. But for Toronto, this is uncharted waters for them. They have to find a way to get through this chop where I have more of a level of trust that the top dogs in Edmonton will find a way through it. Not to mention, help is coming for the Edmonton Oilers. At some point, Zach Hyman will be back in the lineup. He makes such a difference for that group. The lifeline for Toronto, well, he's playing for the Vegas Golden Knights, and that's Mitch Marner. So you don't have whatever resolution Mitch Marner was going to give you in the lineup right now. I trust that the Oilers can do it because they've done it. And for Toronto, now you look at what the Eastern Conference looks like. All of a sudden, Montreal sitting in first place. Boston is a better team than we expected. Pittsburgh's been a nice story to start the season. Teams that are on the outside looking in include Toronto, Buffalo, the Rangers, Washington, the Florida Panthers, all teams that were either really solidified in where they are and teams that are trying to take another step. Well, Toronto's in that mix with them. So they can get lost in the shuffle quite easily if they don't iron out the details of their game and get to where they're supposed to be. I am definitely more concerned for the Toronto Maple Leafs than the Edmonton Oilers at this point.
And time is certainly of the essence. Frankie, the odds makers, they do agree with you. The Oilers are still minus 500 to make the playoffs on FanDuel, but things do look less sure in Toronto, especially after everything you had to say. Despite having the longest playoff streak in the league, the Leafs are now listed at only minus 170.